We are back with the REI Marketing Weekly. I'm your host, Josh Culler, and yes, we are back. We took a couple of years of a break from the REI Marketing Weekly. If this is your first time listening in, we've got about 150 episodes from like 2020, 2021 that are still relevant in today's market, all about marketing for your real estate investing organization. So I am back. I've decided to start the podcast right back up. We're in the summer of 2024. And I have some banger episodes that are coming to you for like the next few months that I've already recorded up. You guys are going to get a lot of great tips and tricks in a different market than we were in 2020 and 2021. In 2020, I felt like a lot of people were, freaking out, obviously, like not just real estate investors, but business owners as a whole were freaking out, not knowing what was going to happen with the market, that sort of thing. Even back in 2021, I remember a few episodes that we had, we were talking about 2.5% interest rates, and now we don't have that anymore. So it's a totally different landscape, totally different ball game. And I thought it was a perfect time to come back out with the REI Marketing Weekly to provide some more value and guidance to you guys. So this is kind of like an opener episode. I'm going to be releasing this, obviously, and right behind it is going to be the first episode with my good buddy Andrew Lucas, who is bringing a tremendous amount of value to the podcast, talking about referral marketing and TV advertisement as well. That's working great for them in Columbia, South Carolina. But some of the things I kind of wanted to go over that's happened over the course of the last couple of years with real estate investing in terms of the marketing side of things. Number one, I want to give you some tips and pointers on what I'm seeing a lot of people do successfully that we're going to be talking about in some episodes that are coming up. And there's going to be some common themes. A lot of the themes that you're going to be seeing is networking and relationships, building a presence in your community, in your local community. Some of the top dogs in real estate investing are doing that. They're going more local as opposed to trying to expand and go into, a nationwide market. Even, I think of Andrew Newland. We get him on the podcast as well. And he's in Albuquerque, New Mexico, but his main market is in Springfield, Missouri. Well, there's only two niche markets because they're very similar markets, and he chose to do that. He has a business partner that's located. She lives out in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and she's able to run that business. But they're partners, and it's run the exact same way in both markets, and they're very similar markets, that sort of thing. So that's about as much expansion as a lot of people are doing right now. A lot of people are pulling back from going wide. They're going deeper into their market, and that's what is working successfully. Just at least now, within the last, I would say 6 to 12 months is what we've been seeing. The other thing is obviously like TV advertising. TV advertising was not something we talked about a lot on the previous episodes of the REI Marketing Weekly. I get a few of my buddies on the show, and a lot of them are doing TV ads. They're working really well. A lot of this does depend on the market that you're in as well. If you're in, Alabama market or something like that, that is going to work really well because people want that local authority to, do business with essentially, and not just sell it to a big box facility. And obviously, like, you put your face on a TV ad, there's countless stories that I get with friends of mine that they, are out of the grocery store and, somebody recognizes them and says, "Hey, I saw you on that TV commercial." And, they start having a conversation, and ultimately it leads to a good relationship. Maybe it leads to a deal, money in the pocket, who knows? But they are becoming that authority in their local market, which obviously that's what you want. You want to be that authority in the local market and be a household name. So we talk a lot about that kind of stuff as well. We talk about referrals. We talk about a lot of the digital side of marketing. It has leaned a lot into SEO and PPC. So we do have a few people that are running Facebook advertising, but one of the first episodes that gets released in another couple weeks is with Brandon Bateman from the Bateman Collective. And they specialize in SEO and PPC and Facebook ads for real estate investors specifically, and the motivated seller lead generation side of things. And he talks about and gives a lot of pointers on the best practices of SEO. And then we also get Brad Woodall, who's an expert in SEO himself and runs for his real estate business, runs his own PPC and SEO. And we give a lot of really practical advice for that. And some of the things that we talk about with SEO is like, you got to be quick. You got to be, when somebody calls you from an SEO, as an SEO lead, maybe they're, an SEO is somebody is searching for a solution to their problem right then and there, meaning they are motivated right there when they're looking for it. And if you don't pick up the phone when they call, they're going to just call the next one. They're at that point, they're shopping for a solution for their problem. And so it's highly important to make sure that you're on that phone call you're answering quickly, or at least giving a call back within the first 2 minutes of missing the phone call. It's highly, highly important. He has somebody that, he works with in tandem on his team that is always on the phone, being there. It's like the ringer is on and that sort of thing. It's very important. And then obviously, like on the PPC side of things, if you are spending money and driving leads towards your website, again, you're hitting them at their motivation, and you really want to be there and available for them right when they're ready to. And normally those are the hottest leads you can get, and those are the ones that are closing the fastest and ultimately producing the best results for a lot of people right now. The other thing is obviously we're in a generation now where cold calling and text blasting is going away completely. There's a lot of rules and regulations that are getting put in place. I know a lot of states are actually you're no longer allowed to text blast. There's certain kind of things for that, and naturally in an environment where we get constantly. I mean I could probably pull up my phone right now and go to some text messages of let's see here. There's some text messages that I have here that are from my local government, and they say, make sure you vote this year and that sort of thing. And I just report it as junk because to me, it's junk. Nowadays, people are aware. They know what's coming. If they get hit with a text message that is unfamiliar, it's an unfamiliar phone number, it's asking a weird question or whatever. Most people are just, especially iPhone users, it's very easy for us now to be able to just report junk and block the number. And that's going away. So, now it's well, that's all outbound marketing. What do we do for inbound marketing now? And that's what we talk about a lot on these first several episodes. I believe at this moment of me recording this intro clip, we have about 12 episodes loaded up, and we don't talk about text blasting. We don't talk about cold calling at all. We talk about talking on the phone and being a good, salesman and being a good acquisitions person and a lead manager, but we don't talk about cold calling much because it's going away. And if it's probably already gone for a lot of people. So now you have to pivot. And that's that's one of the last things I wanted to mention on this kind of opening episode here is in the world of marketing, me specifically, I specialize in the social media world. I specialize in podcasting and YouTube content management and that sort of thing. That's what my services are. And it changes a lot. The landscape of the way social media was even back when we had this podcast in 2021, it was so different. YouTube Shorts did not exist. TikTok was just starting to kind of get its grounds and get going. Reels, I do not believe existed at the time. You could post videos on Instagram, but I don't think Reels existed. And there's just it's a totally different landscape. Now that's all people consume is that short form, quick content like that. So it's important to make sure you keep up with what's going on, but don't knee jerk. One of the things that we talk about on a handful of episodes also is making sure that you're staying focused. You're not just trying the latest and greatest thing. You're doing things that work and pouring more fuel on the fire as they are working, and analyze those results. Look at the analytics, look at the KPIs and the metrics that you're tracking, and make sure that you're studying what is working and just continue to do more of it. Do more. And when you make some money, you get a budget, do more. Allocate more of that budget to that specific marketing tactic that is working for you, whether it is direct mail, whether it is, TV ads or billboards, whatever it is. If it's referral marketing and you have somebody that's solely in charge of managing referrals, pour more investment into that. And that's what works. Right now we're going into a world of we produce a podcast for my good buddies, RJ Pepino and Dave Payerchin out of Columbus, Ohio. And one of their first episodes they were talking about with Terry Summers saying, everybody's going back to what we were doing literally like 5 to 8 years ago. and nobody wants to do it. They're going door knocking. They're actually talking to people on a very high level basis. They're meeting them at the properties to do walkthroughs and shaking hands. And that's the people that are getting the deals. And so, obviously on this podcast being the REI Marketing Weekly, we talk a lot about marketing, but we also talk a lot about sales. We talk a lot about the acquisitions process, lead managers and that sort of thing. We want to discuss those things because they do overlap with each other and making sure that you're, carrying your marketing through the funnel to the salesperson and getting the deal closed. Is very important. Marketing to me is an expectation setter for a lead. It's really what it comes down to. It's giving the expectation to somebody that's potentially wanting to work with you to tell them, here's how I can service you and what the next steps are for that. And that's really what marketing is and should be treated as. And for, quite some time, there was a time period where a lot of the outbound marketing was the cold calling and text blasting, and that worked. And that's another good lesson, is making sure that you juice it out as much as possible. It's no different than the TikTok thing. If you were on TikTok in 2020, 2021, you probably got big. And if you posted consistently, but now it's dry. Like that well has gone dry. So you can't really take efforts on it anymore. But while it's working, like juice it out. And then if it does, change, the next point of that lesson is making sure you're able to pivot as much as you can. So, these are some of the things that I wanted to bring across the table to you guys. There's honestly some fantastic episodes coming up. We talk so much about a lot of different things, but all of it always stems back to doing the things that work. That's ultimately the overarching lesson for all the recordings that we've done so far. So again, I'm your host, Josh Culler. I'm super excited to start this podcast back up. We're going to have a lot of really good, great guests. If you do happen to have somebody that is a guest, or maybe you're listening and you think you'd be a good qualified guest to be on the podcast and be a guest for me, we're taking applications, right? We're taking people to be able to be on the show and make connections with those folks. Obviously, I'm going to do my part in vetting you, but do me a favor. If you are interested, send me an email, josh@cullermedia.com, CULLER media.com. And we can connect from there. Maybe we'll hop on a phone call, get chatting with each other and that sort of thing. And of course, I always want to give a shameless plug to what we do as a service. We work 100% with real estate investors. I've been in the real estate investing space now, which crazy is going on 12 years. It's crazy that it's been that long, but I've now been in that space for 12 years. And I've personally worked with over 350 real estate investors over the course of those few years, right? And what we specialize in is content marketing for real estate investors. So whether you're an educator or an active real estate investor, it doesn't matter. If you have a coaching program, if you're just trying to raise private money, that sort of thing. We do service organic social media. So we can manage all of your postings. We do all the production of the videos, the postings, whether it's 2 times a day, 1 time a day, 3 times a week, whatever it is. We do truly build a package around you specifically. When I'm talking to people on a sales call, I don't have a PDF to send anyone. It shows the packages that we have because I'm structuring everything around you because everybody's needs are different. So we do social media management. We do full service podcast management as well. You hear the podcast now. We manage, I believe, like 15 to 20 different podcasts at this given moment, and we want to ramp that up. We love podcast production. We're very good at it, and it's something that we specialize in, and that's all video podcasts, audio podcasts, all the show noting and stuff like that. And then we also do YouTube management, so full-blown YouTube management where we're creating from start to finish. Every bit of that goes into a YouTube process. And the ultimate goal, if you are a person that you want to create content, but you don't want to do anything after that, then we're the right person for you. Basically, the model that I work with is we have the person film the content. I help give guidance and strategy on that. And then we do everything else. You don't do anything else after you record the content, and that's it. So anyway, we just want to make sure I give a shameless plug. If you are interested, once again, you can hit me with an email, josh@cullermedia.com. Again, Culler spelled CULLER. And I'd be happy to connect with anybody and talk on a phone call. So without further ado, make sure you go right into the next episode with Andrew Lucas. It's going to be a great one. And thank you so much for listening in. And again, make sure you check out some of the previous episodes as well. There's a lot of great content there. But looking forward to taking this journey back with you guys and getting this podcast started back up. And we will see you on the next one. Peace, guys.